Let me just give it a second to make sure everything is working as it should be, because sometimes Zoom doesn't like to. And that's not cute. Okay, we are live. So
All right. Well, welcome everyone, the final two and the jury, to the finale of Mission Room Limit. So the way this will work, we are going to give Logan and Andrew each. You will have 7 minutes to do an opening statement. Logan, since you won the gauntlet, you will get the choice of whether to go first in the opening and closing statements, or second and second. And then after your opening statements, one by one, we will have the jury come up. They will have 7 minutes to say whatever they want. It can be a question. It can be just statements. It can be anything. 7 minutes. They don't have to take the 7 minutes. You don't have to take the 7 minutes. So with that being said, Logan, you have the decision on whether or not to go first. So I will let you pick.
I will go second.
All right. Well, with that being said, Zach, I believe you're starting the time.
Yep. So first will be Andrew. Andrew, whenever you say your first word, I will start the time. I will let you know when you have 2 minutes left, 1 minute left, and 30 seconds left, and when you're done. Do you have any more questions before we start? No. All right, then start whenever you're ready.
Okay, so hello, jurors. Welcome. And I just want to quickly thank Zach, Kennedy, and Alex for putting on this fantastic org. Never thought I would have as much fun as I did. And so let's start from the very beginning. So I was hosting an org when Kennedy asked me to play this one, and I didn't really think that I would have the time to host and play at the same time. And I'm going on vacation next week, and I wasn't sure if the org was going to end. So I initially said no. Kennedy came back about a week later. Somebody must have dropped out, and she said, please, 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 please. So I decided to play, but I decided to come in and just have fun with it and not take it too seriously. I knew I was going to be at a huge disadvantage. The second I walked in, after the button was pushed, which P.S., you should never push the button. But as soon as the button was pushed, I came in and Nathan says, unpush the button. And that night, according to Brian, who's my source there was a Zoom call where a number of people were talking shit about me. I don't have proof of that, but that's what Brian told me. I believe him because he and I have been close in previous games. And then when I lost the first Red Room competition, the jigsaw puzzle, I had, I think, 2 people, Nathan and Marvin, publicly say they were going to vote for me. So I came in with an enormous disadvantage. I had 2 that I knew of and a third in Nathan, mortal enemies. And I was coming in late in the second round because of that twist where I came in week 2, kind of like Big Brother Canada 2, 4, 6. And I came in late and I was voted out right away. And even though all the cards were stacked against me, I was only 1 vote away from a tie. I did work hard in that vote. And if it wasn't for one person who decided to stick with Yoshi over me, that person knows who they are, and I hope I get their vote tonight. But they were honest with me, so I was okay with it. I would have stayed, but I was voted out. I came back about a week, 2 weeks later, and yes, I came back by default. Nobody else showed up for the battle back, and I came back by default. And then you can argue I got through the next 3 rounds by default. I was in space for 1 round. I was immune with the music video for the following round, and then I was also Marvin did not submit a response, so I managed to get through that round, and I did very poor. Logan and I both did very poorly in that competition, so I managed to get through by default. And it was only after it happened, like the second or third time, that I realized, hey, why don't I use this as a strategy? I'm going to keep saying yay for default, yay default, and hope that everybody left in the game sees me as the person that's easy to drag to the end. Is it a crappy strategy? Yeah, but it's the only strategy I have. When you play poker and you have 2 pairs, you got to play with the 2 pairs. I didn't have a royal flush. I didn't have the luxury of having, a whole bunch of pre-game connections and being able to play this dominant game where everybody just sort of blindly followed me and I could do whatever the hell I want, like Derek and Big Brother US or a whole bunch of other people or Boston Rob, where everybody just blindly follows them. I didn't have that luxury. I had to play with the cards that I was dealt. And so I decided, as part of my strategy, to simply just say default and pretend and act weak. But from around the final 7, I knew what was going on. I knew who was in what position, and I knew there was a path for me to the end. And so I pushed forward. So yes, I had 2 that I knew of, Michael and Marvin, and 1 that I didn't know of that emerged as a mortal enemy, Nathan. And even though I had 3 enemies coming in, I also did have a couple allies coming in. I had Eric. I did have Brian, who I lost during the time that I was out. I had Zachy, and I had Julian. And I did try to use that to my advantage, because those players know that in every org I play, I'm a super loyal player and I always stick to my word. I've played 3 LRGs and 34 orgs, and I've only broken my word once in a very, very severe circumstance. Otherwise, if I tell you I'm never going to write your name down, it means I'm never going to write your name down. If I tell you I have your back, it means I have your back. And so I used Eric and Zachy and Julian to my advantage and tried to work with them and present myself as a number for them, which they did. We did align and we did try to work together. I also tried to get really close to Yoshi. Yoshi and I were on the outs early on. We were the first 2 Red Room people in that second round. And I was always loyal to Yoshi. Yoshi constantly did not vote with me and constantly was working with other people, but I was still loyal to him because I had no choice. And I did think he was a good person and I really wanted to see him go far in the game. So I do think that even though my strategy wasn't sensational, it was the best that I could do with the cards that I was dealt. And also in terms of competitions, thank you, Zach. In terms of competitions, I was not great at competitions, but I also wasn't deplorable either. I knew I had to win touchy subjects. I knew I had to go into that humbly, knowing that everyone was going to, put Michael and Nathan for all the good ones and put myself for all the bad ones. Never want to talk to Andrew again. Andrew's going to get voted out next. I knew that was coming. And if I didn't go into that with a humble attitude and sort of an introspective, well, everybody hates you, I wouldn't have won it. Because a lot of people don't answer themselves on the bad ones, but I knew where everybody stood, and so I won that one. And then the final 4 with the movies that we had, the movie scripts that we had to read. No offense, Logan, but I think I was the one that you did work hard, but I think I carried us the most, and so I feel very responsible for that win. So for competitions, I also felt I was strong, and for social game, I'll admit, this time around, because I was hosting and playing at the same time, my social game wasn't sensational. But if you made an effort to talk to me, I made an effort to talk to you. And I was available most of the time to chat and to make deals and to talk game. So yeah, I was, all in all, to sum up, I was a very loyal player, very honest player. I did everything I possibly could to stay true to my allies and keep them in the game. In this game, I never broke my word. And I only told 1 lie in this game, which I'll get to at the end. So hopefully this isn't sort of a clobbering of myself for Logan. Hopefully you see that I did do the best that I possibly could, given that I came in late and I was voted off. And hey, if Chris Underwood can win, having been voted off early, anybody can. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. Next up is Logan. Whenever you start talking, your time will start. I will be putting 2 minute, 1 minute, and 30 seconds in the Zoom chat.
All right. Before I get started, I just want to say I have really bad social anxiety when it comes to public speaking. So if I stutter a bit, that's the reason. And I would like to thank all of the jury members and all the production members. This has been a really, really fun and interesting game. Definitely a game that I've played differently than most other orgs. But between me and Andrew, I 100% believe I played the better game. And here's why. Round 1 with Space Invaders, I was in the losing room because it was 9 against 4 people. And I was not really social that round because I had a family emergency and I just had to get that sorted out. But luckily with Keith not submitting anything, he was the lucky out. And in that moment, when I told everyone, I would like to stay, make more connections and stuff, that's when I made a final 2 with Yoshi. Yoshi and me were really tight. I feel like out of everyone, aside from one other person, me and Yoshi, I talked to the most. Going into this game, also, I knew one person, which was Marvin. I've played many, many games with Marvin, and I always have fun playing games with Marvin. But luckily, yeah, I made a final two with Yoshi, and we just wrote it out until we couldn't anymore. Then came Jigsaw Puzzle. Not much happened that round because I'm pretty sure that was the advantage round. But that's when Andrew went out first, and I believe, and here comes the big reveal, which I don't think it's going to shock anyone now. Yes, that I was the rogue vote for Nathan. I did it like we got on a call going into it. I was like, I want to vote someone and kind of throw like a hinky vote. And as soon as I got off the call with Nathan, I knew Nathan was going to be a big threat, and I knew being on this call and being like, oh yeah, I'm voting Nathan, I'm voting this person. Actually, might not have Nathan. I think it was Jake. But yeah, anyway, we got on the call, we talked, and I was like, I'm going to vote for Nathan. And of course, once the vote came up, Nathan was really vocal about it and was like, I don't think it's Logan, because we just got on the call and he said who he was voting for. And so I knew immediately, like, I was good on that front. But like my biggest like strategy, and I usually don't play this type of game, and I'm going to take it with pride because I know it's not really a favorable strategy, was I was a big snake. I was a big rat. I would always, like I said, coming to this game, I feel like I only had Yoshi and Marvin, and then there's obviously sides forming with Nathan and Michael. There's Julian, Eric, and Andrew. So I felt like I've already missed out on my chance to be tight in a group. So coming into forthcoming rounds, everyone, not necessarily everyone, but everyone was like, we don't know where Logan's head's at, so let's get his vote and see where his vote will lie. And every so often, like for the Julian round, I'm pretty sure I voted out Julian. And then once that we got our groups, everyone thought I was with the side that voted Julian, but that's when I realized there was bigger threats, and at that point I wanted to go for Zachy, because Zachy was a huge threat. And once that figured out, everyone knew I was a liar, and I felt like we had to go to a challenge at one point, like a tiebreaker, and that it was just a lot of flip-flopping on my part. And I feel like that's all I could do in this moment, because I didn't have like a solid group to back me, and I feel like I'm a huge underdog in that type of way. And once touchy subjects came and everyone was like, oh, Eric and Logan, they're playing for second place, I knew I had to step up my social and comp abilities, and luckily I won higher or lower, and I won the script challenge, and I won the final three gauntlet. And going into final three, there was me, Andrew, and Yoshi. I had a final two with Yoshi, and once Yoshi didn't vote with me and Andrew on the Michael vote, Andrew wanted to take me to final two. So I knew in final three, no matter what, I was going to final two. But the reason why I didn't take Yoshi, there's two big reasons. One, Yoshi would have stomped both me and would have stomped both me and Andrew in the final two in a landslide. It would have been 9-0 or 7-0. So I knew if I took Yoshi, I was done. I did play for second, but also I wanted to take Yoshi, but as soon as Michael went home and Michael said, if Andrew and Logan make final two, then that's gonna be shit. And that's when I knew I had to take Andrew at the end, because I feel like anyone else could beat me really. And I have like the underdog, not strategy, but like underdog story, going from not really having anyone in the pre-jury phase and 1 minute. Okay. Not having anyone in the pre-jury phase to being able to not get votes in jury, either me being immune or me having those sides that I got to choose from. No one was necessarily looking at me. Like, I wasn't invisible. I was a target at some points, but there was bigger fish to fry, and I got to hide behind the likes of Michael, Zachy, Tim, and so forth. Wrapping up though, I really do feel like Andrew played a very solid game, but I was here since day one. I won multiple immunities. I won multiple immunities, and I'm just here. Like, I was never eliminated. Like, I don't think someone who was eliminated should win the game.
All right, your time is up, Logan. Thank you very much. We will be moving on to our jury questioning phase. Both of the finalists can come on camera. You can stay on for the rest of the time until closing statements. But one by one, we will have 6 of our 7 jurors come on and ask y'all questions, talk at y'all, whatever they want to do. They will have 7 minutes to do whatever they want. Our first juror is Michael. Michael, whenever you start talking, your time will start.
Hello. So tonight is interesting for me because I feel like I'm voting between the person who waited too long to do something and the person who didn't have to do anything. In my opinion, you can determine for yourself who you think you are. I will say there's a couple strong points to both of your games, I think. Andrew, one thing that I really like about your game is that even though you were on the bottom this entire time, you won touchy subjects, which means even though you were not in a good position, you knew where everybody was and you knew what you needed. Like, you knew the dynamics of the house, which I think is very impressive. Logan, I think that something I liked about your game was with touchy subjects, you realized that you were in a very shitty position, and you did take action immediately, which I did like, but I also think that that you had a chance to do a lot of things. Like, you had people backing you. In your speech, you said that you didn't really have people backing you. I believe that you had a decent amount of people backing you pretty much the whole game. And I think that that you could have done stuff a lot earlier than you did, but it is what it is. I think that I don't know where that thought was going, but okay. I want you both to close your eyes. Okay. I'm going to say something, and if this resonates with you, I want you to raise your hand. If you think that you are going to be getting Julian's jury vote, I want you to raise your hand. If you think you're getting Julian's vote. Okay. If you think you're getting Marvin's jury vote, raise your hand. If you think you're getting Marvin's vote. Okay. If you think you are getting Zachy's vote, raise your hand. Okay. If you think you're going to be getting Eric's vote, raise your hand. Okay. If you think you're getting my vote, raise your hand. Okay. If you think you're getting Nathan's vote, raise your hand. Okay. And if you think you're getting Yoshi's vote, raise your hand. Okay. And keep your eyes closed. One more. Now, if you think you played a better game than Julian, raise your hand. If you think you played a better game than Julian, raise your hand. Okay. If you think you played a better game than Marvin, raise your hand. Okay. If you think you played a better game than Zachy, raise your hand. Okay. If you think you played a better game than Eric, raise your hand. Okay. If you think you played a better game than me, raise your hand. Correct answer. If you think you played a better game than Nathan, raise your hand. Okay. And if you think you played a better game than Yoshi, raise your hand. Okay. You can open your eyes. Okay. So you guys can take that as you will. Some of the jurors might end up asking you why they think you played a better game than them. Neither of you said that you played a better game than me, which, like, of course is true. But I personally am taking this all as game. Andrew, I know that we came into this game with some beef, but honestly, it's all game related. Like, it's never been personal for me. So I don't know if we want to have a talk after this game. I will gladly be there. I hold no ill will to you on a personal level, or in any future games. So good luck to both of you tonight. If either of you have anything that you want to say about any moves, I have a little bit of time left. So if there's anything specific that you want to fill me in on, or if you want to respond to anything that I've said, I can give you that opening, but
Andrew, would you like to go first?
Well, there is something, but it's in my closing argument. So you'll hear there's something I want to clear up, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to come back at when you said I had multiple people behind me. I had a few people behind me, but I felt I didn't have a close group of people. That's what I meant. And I felt like I wasn't able to really maneuver into any groups, and that's why I had to flip.
Okay. Yeah, Logan, I feel like I kind of agree. I feel like I was kind of in a similar position where I didn't really have a group. I do feel like we did have a group when it was like, what was it, final 7, that we easily could have made 4 together. And I think all 3 of us were taking you to 2. I don't know what happens in the jury vote. So I do think out of the jurors, I think you're sitting next to the person that you have the easiest chance of beating. But I don't know if that'll end up happening or not. But yeah, good luck to both of you. You should both be proud of getting there because the rest of us could not. So yeah, that's all I got. So good luck, because there's some heavy hitters coming after me. So good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, hold on, let me make my camera work. All right, thank you, Michael. We will be moving on to our next juror, Zachy.
Hi,
Hello.
you can see, y'all can hear me, right? Just making sure. Okay. Yeah, okay. As you can see, I'm in my car, but I'm not driving. I'm parked, so I can focus. The irony is not lost on me that the people that I voted in the first 2 rounds are now on the final 2. I'm just flabbergasted by that tiny little factoid. I wanted to let y'all know that Andrew, yes, I have a good personal relationship with you. We are good friends. We've been good friends for, I think, like a year now. I don't think that should play a factor into my vote tonight. Game-wise, I think that I am inclined to vote for Andrew going in, but out of all the jurors, I feel like we should all have our vote open. That's our job as jurors to be open with our votes. But I do, going in, feel like Andrew has played a better game. I want Logan, as someone who, you know, I saw Andrew's social game. I know what he did. You described yourself as an underdog, but you're kind of more like a flea, like, throughout the game. Like, I couldn't really see you, and you're like kind of hopping, and I want, because you didn't talk to me really, and I recognize that communication flows both ways, but I tried to talk to you. I want you to explain to me how, is there a way that you can show me your social game and show how it was better than Andrew's in perspective of how I cast my vote?
Yeah. So
my personal vote.
So personally, I feel like I there was definitely some days where I wasn't that social because I work night shift and it was just really hard to, communicate. But with my social game, I was able, if I didn't have my social game, I don't think I would have been able to flip back and forth like the way I did. Because I think the first big like split house vote was Julian. And if I'm not mistaken, each side was, because they didn't know necessarily where my head was at, they both came to me and were like, oh, you should vote with us, you should vote with us. And then it was like vice versa. And at the time, like I told both parties that I would vote with them, but not necessarily because I couldn't vote with them. But I felt like I was able to be able to flip. Like that's what I mean necessarily is without my social game, I don't think I would have been able to play the game that I did.
Okay, but what was the social game is what I'm asking. I recognize that without your social game.
Sorry, I got a phone call. Could you repeat that?
You're good. You're saying that you wouldn't have been there without your social game, but you didn't really answer my question. What was your social game? Set apart from Andrew, what did you do better than Andrew that should constitute to my vote going to you tonight? Personally, like, I would love for you to explain that.
Well, so personally, my social game, like I had a final 2 with Yoshi, and like my social game contributed to that. Like I had a final 2 with Yoshi. I talked to Marvin pretty much every day. Me and Nathan had phone calls. Who else is on cast? Me and Michael talked quite a bit. I will say pre-jury, I was more silent, but I feel like once Andrew came back in, that's when I like.
And I was like, I gotta vote you out because I just did loyalty and everything. Were you talking about me or no?
Well, yeah. So you were one of the votes I was counting on, but you were honest with me, and you told me before the vote that you were voting me because you made a deal with Yoshi that you would protect him and whatnot. And I totally respect that, because if I told Yoshi I wasn't going to write his name down, and you were in my shoes, I would have voted you too. So I get it. And I was happy that you were honest with me. And I'm still proud of myself that in that vote, I got, I think it was 5 votes to stay. Because when I lost the Jigsaw thing, I thought I was going to be unanimously gone. The fact that I even got 5 to stay is a pretty good thing. But yeah, it was you. And I know I didn't take it personally. I'm not upset. And I think in the end, I believe everything in life happens for a reason. And if Yoshi had gone out instead of me, I would have gone out the next round, and then Yoshi would have beaten me in the battle back. So in the end, you helped me by keeping Yoshi in the game because I was able to default my way back in.
I can see that. Oh shit! Only have 1 minute. Okay. I admire how you, Andrew. I admire the fact that as soon as you came into the game, you did not let the bombardment of personal opinion of a lot of the people who were very public about their personal opinion of you affect you, game-wise and personal-wise. We talked about it, and I greatly admire that. And I'm sure you're going to see and expect, there's probably going to be some nasty things said by some jurors in the future. And I want you to hold your head up high. You got here for a reason. What personal things that people have against you, don't let it affect you. And I don't know if other people will have the same thing with you, Logan, but I want you both to have your head up high, keep going strong. You guys are there for a reason. You did a good job.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, Zachy. Your time is up. Kennedy, if you can jump in for this next one. Your next
Okay.
juror that you will be facing is Yoshi.
I've got the
Ooh,
timer
switching it up.
in just a second, Yoshi.
Okay.
Right. I am ready when you are. When you say your first word, I will hit the timer.
Hello, guys. It's nice to see your beautiful faces.
Hello.
Hakuna Matata means no worries. But you bitches better be worried because only one of you are gonna win. The other one is not. But I would say that I respect both gameplays, whether it's dirty, whether it's clean. I don't care. I like a good chaos. But I would say to me throughout this game, gameplay wise, I'll say Logan, you are correct. Like more on the snake wise, I do think that you were a slithery snake, very transparent one though that you can see. And Andrew, I would say more is like the cockroach, like that doesn't die, but still there. So I would say both of you had some pretty solid gameplay. You played hard, but my question is for both of you, Logan, what would you say throughout your flip flopping and your snakishness was a move that benefited you the most? And Andrew, I would say, you keep saying by default, but what did you have happen in this game that was very strong that wasn't by default that got you to the end? Because if I don't know by default, I might vote for Logan. So let me know, guys.
Would you like to go first, or?
Sure, I'll go first. There's two things. One I'm saving for my closing statement, but the other one I'll tell you now, which is when we got to Final Four, I really was worried that the room choice, it was a blue room. I was really worried that was going to just screw me over. And I didn't want to be voted out and end up fourth because I chose the wrong room. And so I had purposely all season long, even before my first vote off, I was purposely picking cargo hold because I wanted people to expect that I was always picking cargo hold. And you and Nathan went to cargo hold, probably thinking that I was going to go there too. And I knew Logan was telling me he was going to mess hall. And so I made the decision to go to mess hall to change against what I've been doing the whole time, because I would have rather been in a competition with Logan against you and Nathan rather than been with you and Nathan where you could have thrown it on purpose. And then Logan would have been safe and it could have easily been myself. So even though, and Prod will, they can't verify, but I was saying cargo hold every single time and I wasn't even wasting a breath. I was like, cargo hold, no, just keep it the same. But I made that decision in the Final Four, knowing that could have been, and I think it was, the difference between making it to the final 3 and 2 or not.
Personally, I feel like my move that definitely ensured me in this spot was right before the higher or lower challenge, and it was the tie between Eric and Michael. Going into it, Michael, Nathan, and I believe you all thought we were going to vote out Eric easy peasy. And I didn't. At this point, I knew Michael was the biggest threat in the game, and I wanted that person out. And then Eric and Andrew needed my vote to ensure a tie, and I was able to convince Eric to give me his challenge advantage before the vote happened, and he did. And I got the challenge advantage for the next round, and I feel like without the challenge advantage, because it was just me and Andrew in the room after, without the challenge advantage, Andrew could have easily won higher or lower, but I was able to win it. And at that point, I knew everyone was like, I can just take Logan to the final 2 and beat him. And so like past higher or lower, I knew I was golden.
Okay. Thank you guys. I love you. And that's it.
Thanks, Yoshi.
All right. Thank you, Yoshi. I'm going to reset the timer here. And then, Jury, I absolutely love and adore you. If you can bump the order, that would be great.
It's me.
I was going to say, I want to say we're at Marvin. I know the last ones. Okay. Marvin, your time will start when you do.
Okay. You can just go ahead and start it. So I guess question is for Andrew. You said you played 34 orgs and 4 LRGs, correct?
34 and 3.
3, okay. So coming into this game, why did you think that I had essentially I was like one of your enemies coming into this game?
I think we played 3 before, and the first 2 we were never really on the same page. But then on the last one we played, we made a final 2, and the first chance you got, you voted me out. So I just figured you didn't like me because, so that was why.
So,
and sorry to cut. There was one other thing. The very first org we played, I know it was, what's her name? Mary Beth. There was a girl you were aligned with in the challenge. I know it was a long time ago.
mhm.
I wished her good morning every morning, and she thought I was creepy. And you didn't do much to defend me. In fact, you kind of agreed with her. So from what I recall, I know that was a long time ago. So there was that too. Sorry, go ahead.
No, like I understand where you're coming from with those first 2 orgs because we hashed it out in duplicity. I will admit that, and we did. Which
Okay,
was
but
the
then you
last
voted
org
me out
we
the first
played.
chance you could.
Say what?
But then you voted me
so
out the first chance
that's
you
where I'm
could.
coming in. Okay, so this is where I'm coming into this thing. You came in with that mentality because I voted you out on pretenses that came into that whole situation of you getting voted out. But you came into this game thinking that I was going to be an enemy of yours when in all reality, you are the one that's making all like sorry this isn't game related, but I feel like this is how it came into you coming into this game as me being an enemy, is that you came into this game already having this whole thing that I'm your enemy because of the last game. But for someone who's played 34 orgs and 3 LRGs, you should understand that every game starts from scratch. Not only that, but also with like other games that I've been in since Duplicity, you're like team everyone except Marvin. So you understand where I'm coming from, correct? As to why I'm like, oh, I want Andrew out because of this whole situation.
Okay, I don't think I ever typed everyone but Marvin. I would never do that.
Oh, but trust me, you have. You have.
If you can send it to me, screenshot it, I'd love to see it because I don't think I've ever written everybody but anything. But I'll take your word for it.
But,
the first point you said that every game is different. That's interesting because then I lose a challenge and you publicly say you're going to vote me out as soon as I lose the challenge.
That whole situation that
I thought you said every game is different and you're going to reset it.
It is different because last game we did align. I will admit that we did align. Duplicity.
And then you voted me out as soon as we aligned.
For obvious reasons within the game. We can discuss that later if you want. But I did come into this knowing where my vote was going to go. But I will admit my vote is actually up in the air. So don't close that off completely, either of you. I did have another question for Andrew. What is like something like an actual big move that you made within the game, unless it's going to be in your closing statement?
There's that, and there's that. I didn't have the ability to make moves because I didn't have anybody on my side. I made an alliance with Yoshi and Eric called the Outsiders, and we tried to align as much as we can with Zaki and try and pull in Logan as well to vote with us because we knew that you, Nathan, and Michael were the power players. And so I did try to get the Outsiders to band together, but because Yoshi and early on Logan was with you guys, there was really nothing I could do. So I did my best. I'm not saying I sat down and did nothing, but I did attempt to. And the vote that it was a tie between Tim and Michael, I was in space, but I was trying to get votes on Michael because I knew that for my game, it was better if Michael went at that point than Tim.
Okay. Logan.
Yes.
Just know I love you. I know that at a certain point, obviously, it was between me and Julian. I know for a fact you could have voted me out, and I don't know if you're going to touch on this in your closing statement, but I want to, like, guess more so here as to like your decision making during that process, because I'm pretty sure lots of people want to hear it. And on top of that, I feel like had I not spoken to you and actually had that one-on-one with you, I could have gone, and I want you to be able to explain that to the jurors if you want.
Yeah. So you mean the Julian and you vote, right?
Yes.
So my mindset going into that was, who's the bigger threat? And at the time, I felt like Julian was definitely the bigger threat. So I was definitely undecided at that point. But definitely once you came to me and was like, I have you, I know we've played multiple games together. This is me and you. And like, I felt like really both touched and positive about that. And that definitely influenced me on taking Julian out.
Okay. Well, thank you. And honestly, good luck to the two of you. Like I said, my vote is still up in the air. And wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Marvin. Up next, we have Nathan. Nathan, I will start the time whenever you start.
I hope this has changed, but if not, I'll go ahead and. Okay, good. It's not there yet. So I do have a little surprise at the end of my speech, but that's not an issue. So first of all, I do want to say congrats to both of you. More so to Andrew for winning that Final Four comp, because I feel like you read most of your scripts. And I did the same because I knew that if we lost, I was going home, and I didn't want Yoshi to have that on him. So it was kind of like a reading contest between me and you. So I'm happy that I went out the way that I did. I'm not upset about the way I played this game. People called me a villain. People called me this, that, whatever, that's fine. I'm okay with that because this is like the first time I've ever felt proud of my game. But Andrew, I do want to clarify something for you. It was in Yoshi's questions. So the reason that we actually went to the cargo hold was not to try and force a room limit. We were going there to avoid one because we had deducted that you guys were trying to play the game of Michael saying, oh, we're going to go where we always go, and then flip it. So we knew y'all were going to the mess hall. Now, it would have helped my game if I would have forced a room limit, but that's neither here nor there. I do want to say neither of you think you have my vote, which is very interesting. But you would be correct because I don't know who I'm voting for. And honestly, I do have some questions. So one thing I do want to ask is, Logan, can you name one move that you can claim as your own? Just not like detailed, but like, just give me a move that you made, like sending somebody home.
Okay, yeah, let me just look at my notes real quick. I truly believe without me, the Julian Marvin vote, if it wasn't for me, Julian would have stayed and Marvin would have gone. So I think I was a huge factor in the Julian vote.
Are you talking about where Tim actually went home?
Possibly,
Final
yes.
10?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, yes, I was the rogue vote on Tim. I openly admitted that. And it was just because something didn't feel right with Julian. In his statements, he's not very good at hiding stuff when he has stuff in his pockets. But I don't necessarily think that you were the main reason that happened, but you were a part of it. So good job on that. I also figured, like, it's good that you are claiming that you were the rogue vote for me at 11. Even if you weren't, I said in the chat earlier today, if Logan has any brain cells, he'll try to claim that vote as his own. Because otherwise, like, the jury struggled trying to figure out what you did in this game. And Andrew, that wasn't to like bash you at all. It's not that you did these great, amazing things. You did what you did to survive. And we kind of all understood that at round table. So my next question is going to be for Andrew. We didn't really have a rivalry coming into this game, believe it or not. The only reason that I did not want to play this game with you was because of the way that you let me go home in our past org. I just didn't appreciate it. Like, yes, these weren't like word for word, but in my mind, it kind of felt like, hey, you're going home for this placement. We've had an alliance since the beginning. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, that was kind of the gist that I got when I went home at 5 the last game. And that's kind of why I didn't trust you. And that's plus I had made really good connection with Yoshi. So that also didn't help the case. So I will admit that is partly on me. And this next bit is also a question for Andrew. And give me just a second. So Andrew, I do have to ask, since I'm more likely to vote for Trump than I am to vote for Michael, am I more likely to vote for Trump than I am for Andrew?
Oh my fucking
I
god.
like to think you're more likely to vote for me than for Trump, I would hope. And I will say, can I respond to what you said before?
Sure, yeah.
I'm sorry if I hurt you in any way in our previous game in Supreme. But at the same time, I do want to say, would it have been better if I just lied to you, blowed smoke up your ass and said, yeah, there's a chance you're staying. Yeah, we can vote Kennedy out or vote whoever else, Penny out. I didn't want to lie to you. I just told you the truth because I was in a 4-person alliance from the second round and I'm a super loyal player. So there was no way I was breaking a 4-person alliance that I had spent like 3 months with. So, sorry, go ahead.
But I do want to say I did know about that alliance. Like Kennedy and I were a lot closer than anyone else even thought. Like, yes, I played that game with Kennedy from day one. Like that whole first round happened because of Kennedy and I and Alex. Like that whole split vote idea, which I know that's a long time to think about, but yeah, it just kind of like felt weird because I thought we had that understanding and it just never kind of like came to, but yeah, that's all.
I do apologize. And can I just say one more thing? Sorry.
Quickly, because I do have a question.
In this game, because of that circumstance, when I came in and you said unpush the button, this and the other, that's why I thought you were my enemy. But in this game, when I saw you on the reveal while I was in space week 1 or whatever, I was planning on working with you. I really was, and it didn't come to fruition. And I apologize that it didn't. Go ahead. All
right, so all good. Logan, you were correct at least to say that you did not play a better game than me. In fact, you, like Michael said, you're sitting next to the person you have the best chance to beat, but that's not even a guarantee. So good luck to the both of you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Nathan. And now we have our final juror, Eric, if you are ready.
Hello.
Time starts when you do.
Okay, hi guys. So first off, congratulations on both being there. So I have a decent amount more for Logan than Andrew because I feel like I understand his game less. I actually wrote a book about Logan's game. It says Logan's game. Like to read it to you. But as you can see, it's empty because I don't see anything. So I want to see, Logan, I want you to prove me wrong. And the next thing, I can think of 3 moves that you could have made, but didn't and still been in the same position. So I want to see if you have a good enough grasp on the game to know what votes those were and what you could have done differently to have a better resume at the end.
What was the first part? The votes?
I want to see if you can prove that you had at least somewhat of a game.
Oh, got you. Okay. So, yeah. No, I mean, in general, I feel like no matter what, everyone has a game. No matter what this person did, that person did. But me personally, like I said, yes, I was the snake I was a flip flopper, and I felt like at times when I needed to flip flop is when I did. Like for example, the Julian vote, and then because I will say pre-merge, I feel like pre-jury, I feel like I played a perfect under the radar game, but what, like I said, once the jury hit, I was a big influence on the Julian vote, on your vote, especially because without you, I was really pulling for you in the tiebreaker, because I felt like moving forward, I could have at least taken you to 4 before I had to, cut you. And I really appreciated the challenge advantage. I was able to talk to you about that and was able to get your challenge advantage. Let's see. Michael, Nathan, and then the script reading challenge. Yes, Andrew was more fluent in that, but even had we lost, I feel like it would have tied and I still would have been here no matter what. It's just like, in general, to close it off, I feel like from Marvin's elimination on, I feel like I was guaranteed final 2 no matter what.
And see, I think my issue with the fact that I agree with most of the things you said, but I think my issue is with what you're saying is that I honestly think you were guaranteed final 2, not because of your gameplay, because you had lack thereof. And that was likely from the merge, because we at the roundtable said that almost every single person on the jury could have beaten you. And the other thing I want to say is that I want you to see if you can combat this statement.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were a rat, you said you were a snake, you said you were a flip-flopper.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how you think the timing worked out for you, because I don't think you had good enough timing to actually make moves. Like, there was an opportunity to get Michael out earlier, for example, and if you voted with the group of people that was voting for Michael would have left, and that would have been a move that you could have had on your resume, but because you didn't know how to time it correctly, it didn't end up going in your favor. So I want you to see if you can combat anything of how you had good timing on some of the moves you're claiming you made.
Well, it's not necessarily timing. All the moves I made were for my personal game and how I feel like I could have gotten here. And if you ask me what I would do to change that, I wouldn't, because there's no guarantee I would still be here, I feel like. And so I feel like I did everything in my power, to the best of my power, at the right time, at the right moment.
Okay, so I'll move to Andrew. Andrew, you know I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah, it's been pretty clear. But I want you to rank what you believe are the 3 strongest jurors based on gameplay on a scale of 1 to 10, and why you're giving them that rating.
So you want me to rank all the jurors from
3 of them, the 3 people that you think played the strongest game on the jury. I want you to give them a number rating from 1 to 10 and explain why.
Okay, so sorry to not put you first, Eric, but Michael is number 1. He's basically kind of played the same game as Michael in Big Brother US right now, where he's just winning competitions. Everybody likes him. He's would have had by far the most chance of winning in terms of the votes at the end. And his game was solid. It was a 10. And I tried to take him down. And in the end, I didn't even read the room right in terms of who would take him down, because I was working on Yoshi so hard that day, and it ended up being Nathan. So Michael is definitely number 1 as a 10. Then I would say, I got to say Yoshi, simply because his social game was so good. Everybody was able to like him and love him immediately. I was a smitten kitten with him before my first vote out. And when I lost the red room and it was him, I thought, shit, I'm done, which I was. And I think his social game is so good. And as Logan said, he would have likely beaten either one of us in the finals. So I got to put Yoshi at a 9. And then Eric, I love you. I'm going to put you at 3rd at number 8, because I do think you've had such a raw deal. We played twice together. You've had such a raw deal both times to lose because of a competition both times. I feel so bad for you. And I think your game is very underrated. you are a loyal player, but you're also really good competitively and strategically. So I would put you at 8. And that's my ranking.
Okay. So the last thing I want to say is at the jury roundtable, it was discussed that we think that you two kind of played both of you played the weaker games out of a lot of the jury members. And it was discussed that we are not going to be, by some, that we are not going to be voting for a winner. We are voting for someone to lose. I want you guys to close your eyes and raise your hand if you think you were the person that they wanted to lose.
Like to lose more?
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
I want you guys to close your eyes and raise your hand if you think they are the person that they are voting against because they do not want you to win. So if they do not want you to win and you thought that they were voting against you to lose, raise your hand.
See, that's really tough because like
We
There's-
don't have time to talk about it. You're
Oh,
gonna
shit.
need to make a decision.
Okay,
All right, that's all the time we have. Sorry, Eric.
that's okay. I got all I wanted.
Perfect. All right. So then that is all of our jurors. Eric, my love, if you could go off camera.
Oh yes, sorry.
You're okay. All right. So, Logan, because you chose to go second, Andrew, you'll be going first here again, and Logan will be going second in the closing. Just a reminder, you have 7 minutes. Time will start.
Oh, it's 5 for closing.
Oh, is it 5? Oh my gosh, thank you for
Yes.
catching me. You have 5 minutes. Time will start when you do.
Okay, thank you, jurors. That was actually, I really enjoyed that, and I didn't think I was going to. I will say, I do think it's human nature. I love Big Brother, Survivor, etc., because it's a social experiment, and I do think it's human nature for people to bring past experiences forward. So, for instance, when Marvin said every game is a new game, yes, you're right, it should be. But just like with Nathan, with myself, bringing his past experience in, I did that too. And I'm guilty of it. I'm a Virgo. I just can't erase the past. I'm sensitive. I'm super emotional. So I do apologize for that, but I do think it's human nature. The big move it's not a move, but it's something I did this season that I'm really proud of, is I inherited from my father a bad temper. And what happens is I can be super nice and super fun and super happy-go-lucky all the time. And once in 6 months to a year, something will set me off and I'll explode. And Michael kind of blindsided me at Tribal when he brought up the whole, did you tell people that I screwed you over? And I said, yes. And then he said, well, actually, let me explain to you what happened. And he went on about what happened at Triumph. I was so close to snapping and just screaming and yelling at him. And I'm very proud of the fact that I didn't, because I think that would have been enough to push people like Yoshi and possibly Eric and Zaki and everybody against me, in that, he's a really shitty person for just yelling at Michael, so he should, not. So even though I personally believe that Michael in that game, and I know we shouldn't put in the past, but the one lie I told was, oh, it was a year ago and I forgot. I remember everything. I remember where my first poop was and what I ate for cereal 3 weeks ago. I remember everything. So yes, I remember that org, and I lied when I said I didn't. And I remember it vividly, and I did not say your name. Whoever told you I was saying your name was lying to you. And I kind of feel like the Marvin thing is the same, because Marvin, I was never, ever writing your name down, ever. And I think Rachel put the bug in your ear that I was coming after you. At least I hope it was Rachel. Otherwise you believed other people. But, and you and Michael both kind of went with it, which I get it now. And I get that neither of you voted me out of those games maliciously. But I think you were mistaken in that Michael thought I was coming after him immediately. Marvin thought I was coming after him, and I really wasn't. And I wish you both came to me, but it is what it is. It's in the past. But what I'm proud of is that in that moment, in any other org, and I'm sure some of you have seen it when I go off on people, I was so close to snapping on Michael, and I didn't. And I think that made the difference too, because Yoshi later on, or I can't remember if it was Yoshi or somebody else, but somebody else said, yeah, Michael made it kind of, I think the word was awkward and cringe when Michael sort of confronted you. Whereas, so I kind of came off looking like not the victim, but kind of came off as the good guy, and Michael came off as the aggressor. Whereas if I had snapped, it would have been totally the other way around. So I'm not mad at all at Michael. I'm like, I've had time to reflect, and I think that you were just mistaken and thinking I was coming after you when I wasn't. But my whole point in that is that I kept my cool. In this game, that's one thing I did really, really well this season. There were people that threw daggers at me. Zach even said that there was a lot of, just now, I think it was Zach, that there was a lot of daggers thrown at me. And people were, saying a lot of shit. And I kept my cool the whole game. I kept my composure. I was humble about it, like in touchy subjects. And I used the default thing to now get to my last statement. I used the default thing to my advantage. I knew after the second or third round that it was getting old and I should stop saying it, but I said it so that people would think, oh, we can beat him at the end. And it worked because Logan brought me to the end and I believe he's about to lose. So I think that I played a good enough competitive game. I played the best game I could have strategically, and I did play a social game. Yes, I wished the majority of you good mornings. It was not meant to be creepy. It was meant to talk to you because I want to talk and I love it. And I love this game. I will be happy with whatever result comes through. And I really genuinely, I know this is probably a lot of you think I'm lying, but I hold no ill will towards any of you, regardless of whether you vote for me to win or not. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. And Logan, same to you. You have 5 minutes. I'll be giving 2 minute, 1 minute, and 30-second updates. Time starts when you do.
All right. So I would like to take a minute before I get more into why I believe I should win, even though it's not really that. It's more like just closing statements, of course. This was really a really fun game. I enjoyed playing and talking with everyone. I enjoyed production. I enjoy this final two. And even though the jury feels like they say they're voting against someone, no matter what, the both of us, whoever wins, deserves it because we got here, we did the moves we needed to do, and yeah. So I firmly believe if I lose, I mean, it is what it is, but I feel like I still deserve the win. The only time I really was in danger was the first vote and the Julian vote, because my name was thrown around there too. Andrew was on the bottom a lot, and not dissing his game, but I feel like for me personally, the person who was able to get to the end with the least amount of trouble plays the better game. I was able to do moves like I said, convincing Eric to give me the advantage and all this other stuff. But I just feel like I played the better game. And if none of y'all see that, then that's okay. And yeah, but I just wanted to say I appreciate all of you. This is a really tough, jury speech because social anxiety and I'm not really good at public speaking. That's really what destroys me in the end is just public speaking. But no matter what, I am holding this game, my game, with the biggest and utmost respect because it got me to the end. I wouldn't change a thing, even if I get second. This was a fun game. I enjoyed playing with all of you, and hopefully I get to play with all of you all again.
All right.
Zach, you got it from here?
Yep, I got it from here.
Perfect.
Okay, so, and with that, y'all have done your part. You are done with the jury questioning. The power now shifts to the jury. The 6 of you on call and Julian, who is not here, it is now time for you all to cast your vote for the winner of Mission Room Limit. I will give you all around 5 minutes to do that. Lock in your votes, change your votes, whatever you want to do. I have to let Michael's face back in. I do ask y'all to stay off camera and muted until after we reveal the winner. Once we reveal the winner, we will then move into awards. We have quite a few awards, so it's going to be pretty fun. But you have until 8:15 to submit a vote, and then we'll get into it.
Good luck, Andrew.
Good luck, Logan.
Seriously though, I wouldn't have chose anyone else.
Aw. Thank you.
So what do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be 4-3, 6-1, 7-0?
Well, let's hope for 4-3 because
That's
that's
what I hope too. I personally think I'm not going to say anything, but yeah, we shall
it's
see.
always better when it's suspenseful.
Yeah, I'm just glad to be done. Not so stressful with these long terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mainly a mini player because I feel like minis are more compact. But this format was fun, so I wanted to try it out.
Yeah, I did love this game. I think we all love the game.
Mhm. It's crazy too, because like there's so many other things you want to say after you're done with your speeches, and you're just like, why didn't I say that?
Yeah, there was one thing I forgot to mention, but it's too late now. But yeah, that always happens. Even at regular eliminations, you go in expecting to say something and you forget. You say
Yeah. Like while you were going, I was like, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say this, and then I ended up not saying it. Just those nerves. Can't wait to watch the round table though.
something.
Just gonna skip over the parts when they talk about me.
All right.
Oh, shit.
Let me make my camera work. It like's not working. Okay, so we have all the votes. Reminder, this is the last vote this season. Before we get into it, I want to say thank you all, the final two, the jury, and if any of the pre-jury is watching, thank you all for giving us such an amazing season. I was very entertained all the way through, and I think I can speak for the rest of the production who was also entertained. It's been a wild season. We've tried some random shit. Okay, y'all can come on to camera after we announce the winner, like immediately after. Y'all are good to go. But we are going to get into it. You need 4 votes to win. These are all votes to win. And before we get started, just making sure I gotta darken things to make this viewable. Okay. Let's figure out how to do this. Just 1 second. Don't mind me. Right. So making sure everybody can see this.
Yep.
Y'all can see that? Okay. I will be going in order of jurors from 3rd place to 9th.
Oh shit.
Which means we are starting with Yoshi. Yoshi voted for Logan. Next is Nathan. Nathan voted for Andrew. That's 1 vote Logan, 1 vote Andrew. Next is Michael. Michael voted for Andrew. That's 2 votes Andrew, 1 vote Logan. Next is Eric. Eric voted for Andrew. That's 3 votes Andrew, 1 vote Logan. Next is Zachy. Zachy voted for. The winner of Mission Room Limit, Andrew. Andrew,
Woo!
congratulations. By a vote of 6-1, you have won Mission Room Limit.
How? Wow. A default really paid off.
Congrats, Andrew. Oh, can we unmute?
Yeah, y'all can
Yeah,
unmute.
y'all are
You can say
good.
whatever you want now.
Okay.
Congrats.
Andrew, if you want to say
Congrats.
anything else before we get into everything, go ahead.
Thank
The floor is
you.
yours.
I'm kind of speechless. I was not expecting this. So yeah, thank you. And yeah, I meant what I said in my final speech. Like I don't hold any ill will either way. Yeah.
Thanks for playing. I know that I bugged you a couple times.
Yeah, I
And I
said
was like,
no at
Andrew,
first.
come play.
Yeah.
So thank you for agreeing. It obviously panned out for you.
I'm Chris Underwood, just without the anaconda dick. Oh, sorry, are we live still? Oops, my bad.
Yeah, we're live until after awards.
Yes.
Oh, we love it. We
That
love
like
it.
took a
Anaconda.
second to process what you
We love
said.
it. All right, let's go
I
to the
think they're
dramatic
actually they're taking a second to Google.
I'm definitely not Googling. Don't worry. I
He said,
assure
I've
you.
already been there.
It's like I haven't saved like that.
I think it's time for the dramatic reunion. Logan, you stink, dirty bitch.
I think I want to say that Zach is getting our slideshow up
Yep.
for
Are
awards.
y'all ready for some awards?
Oh, I forgot about this.
I want to say a quick thing. I was not coming into this like as mean as people thought I was. Like the reunion, like this portion, the finale. I wasn't planning on like just being absolutely malice towards either of you. And I hope that you didn't feel any of that during my finale speech. But otherwise we can talk later.
No, I think your speech was fine.
And with that, let's get this show on the road. Can everybody see the award slideshow?
You.
Okay, I'm just waiting for the stream to update to see what I'm dealing with. Okay, then we'll get into it.
Can I just change to my phone real quick so you'll see
Yeah,
me?
go ahead.
Not a three-way tie.
No, we have
oh,
nominees.
they're nom.
Oh,
have
okay.
nominees.
I'm gonna have to stop sharing to add as a phone in.
Sorry.
So we'll get right back to that. But yes, the nominees for most Rob Preacher are Brian, Tim, and Aaron.
Okay, I'll leave this. I'll join in like 2 seconds.
I
Just-
wonder who it is.
Plot twist, it's Brian.
It's Keith.
Yeah, it's Keith.
Actually, that's a really good point. Preachers, if any of you are watching and you want to join the reunion, just message in your prod chat, message anybody in prod, message anyone who has access to the Zoom. Don't let anybody in that's not pre-jury. We have the waiting room on. But pre-jurors, if you want to join, talk to somebody. We'll send you the link.
Dropped
Great.
the link in my prod chat.
Andrew is back, so we will
Yep.
get back to it. Y'all can see it again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the award of most Rob Preacher goes to Tim.
Yeah.
I don't think this is coming as a surprise to anybody. Tim
Not even 10.
probably should have been in the jury. The only reason why he was not was because Julian played his advantage, becoming immune for that round and negating. I want to say it was 9 votes, and Nathan 7. And Nathan happened to throw a vote on Tim, which unfortunately led to him getting voted out at the last pre-jury round. I think if Tim wasn't voted out here, he would have made it much deeper into the game.
Thanks, Nathan.
You're welcome, Michael. It's almost as if I saved you so many times.
I would agree. I think Tim was someone that I really enjoyed watching because Tim was so into it. You know, Tim was very wrapped up in all of the things that were happening, and positioning wise, I really think Tim was in a good spot. And if he hadn't been caught where he was, I think Tim probably would have gone far into the game. Absolutely robbed. I was so sad to see Tim go. But yes,
Hear
there's-
that? She
there's my two
wanted you
cents.
gone, Michael. Essentially.
Oh my god,
Mhm, I
that's
heard it.
exactly what I said.
Mhm.
I hate Michael Davis.
It's not what you
caught
said,
me.
but it is
Yeah.
what
You heard it here first.
Great. We'll move on to the next award, Most Robbed Juror. The nominees for this are Eric, Yoshi, and Marvin. The winner of this award is Eric.
Y'all really hate me. Goodness.
So I was personally a very big fan of Eric this season.
As you should be.
But I feel like going into that final 6 round, if Eric were to win that competition, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it to the final 2. And the fact that he got so close, like he literally was taking the screenshot and sending it at the same time, it literally came down to bandwidth, which in my opinion is quite robbed.
Sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yes, absolutely robbed.
Fuck living on a farm.
I will say mine was buffering too, so probably not as bad, but
All right. Kenny, do you have anything else you want to say?
Eric, you know. You know. It was so great to watch you play. I really think that you were one of those players that we'd watch you on a call and then we'd watch your prod chat and be like, these bitches believe me? Like just you'd have some quirky thing you'd have to say in your chat, and I absolutely loved it. Your positioning was so good in the game, and it was just seeing you go where you did. Watching the votes come in and everything was tough because I think that was such a tricky spot, and I really do think that you probably would have made it to the end had you not gone there. So, and Michael Davis, if it makes you feel better, I think that either of you would have made it to the end if you hadn't gotten taken out there. I really do think that was a pivotal point in the game. So.
Okay, I don't know where Alex went, but the awards coming up are the production favorite awards. He told us just to go ahead. Okay. So Kennedy, we can speak on this one because Alex isn't here, but Alex's host favorite was Yoshi.
Yes.
Yoshi was another one of the players that were extremely entertaining to watch this season. One thing about his game was nobody ever like fully grasped how good of a position Yoshi was in. Like everybody wanted to work with Yoshi. Everybody wanted to bring Yoshi far, and he was just vibing. Like y'all just let him. I loved like all of the cast this season, so y'all were so entertaining. I'll say more on that after the live stream's over, but it was just a good time.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't want to speak too much because I know it's Alex's host favorite, and I'm sure Alex, if and when Alex comes back, Alex will definitely have something to say. But Yoshi, I am so glad that Alex reached out to you and asked you to play. I feel like we took some shots with some people. We reached out to some people hoping that it would go well, and we're really happy with the cast that we got. And so it's just so cool. Alex was so excited. Not only was Alex so excited at the idea of you playing, but then when you're like, yeah, I'm into it. I'll do it. It was great. I know that it was super fun watching you. Zachy baby, can you mute? Thank you so much. I'm so sorry to call you out. Okay. So yes, it was so fun watching you.
That
But I can't
warms my
gush too
heart.
much because I have a host favorite too. So
Okay.
All right. Speaking of, we will move on to.
Oh my God, is mine
Kennedy's host
next?
favorite. Yep.
oh,
yours
okay.
is next.
Okay. I'm apologizing in advance because I know half of you are going to be mad at me, but I specifically made sure that I picked a host favorite that I did not know before casting them so that none of the people who I knew could get upset with me because there is a good handful of you. And Zach, don't reveal it yet, but you won me over as soon as I saw you in that damn Pickle suit, Zach, go ahead. My most favorite is Eric. Eric, I think that was one of the like really, really noticeable moments is you sent this video in your prod chat of you on a date with Pickle, wearing a pickle, like tucking a pickle into bed. No, that's not an innuendo. It was so good. And watching you like when you're on calls, some of the shit you would say was just absolutely hilarious. And a lot of the times you didn't even know you said it. Like we had such a hard time in the prod chat not giving you episode titles because we had already given you some, but you would say something and it'd be like, oh, we need people to know what Eric is doing. You were so entertaining to watch. I think you had a really good grip on the game strategically. I kept finding myself wanting to stay on Zooms that you were in because I was like, oh, what's he gonna do next? Your confessional when you showed me all your little crafts was
Yeah.
so fun. Like just I had spent so much time with you and I had no idea who you were coming into this. So yeah, that is why you are my host favorite. I love all of you that I do know, but I'm not picking a favorite out of any of you. Mwah. So Eric gets it.
But she did pick a favorite out of all the people she knows now.
Not that. Oh, Zach, if you want to like comment on my host favorite, by all means, go ahead.
I was very close to picking Eric too. Like Eric was one of those very, very bright spots on this season. Like as soon as I saw Eric typing in his show chat, I ran to it to see what he was gonna say. If Eric was on a call, I stayed on the call. I had to stop myself from like making the episode quote Eric's so many times. I think we gave him.
I think we gave him
2 or 3.
And we definitely there were definitely some more. But I will have you know that a lot of you said a lot of like these episode titles were really hard to decide. So don't feel bad if you either don't get one or only get one.
But also Eric was like put in a sort of underdog position so early, and I love me a good fucking underdog. So trying to climb back from that was just so entertaining to watch, and it just works so much better when it's matched with a bright personality.
Sorry, Brian.
Love Brian De Leon, king.
And with that, we will move on to my host favorite. It was very close for me between this player and Eric. But this player, just how they spoke throughout the entire season, how they carried themselves, and like how they treated other people. I just appreciated it the whole way. So my host favorite is Zachy. Whenever Zachy was on a call, I stayed on that call. I think there were a couple times where I stayed up playing like Fall Guys with Zachy. A few of the conversations that I heard Zachy getting into with other players went way beyond the game, and I had to sort of stay quiet during them because it's not really my place to speak. But if you know what those conversations were, you understand why I couldn't really say anything during that. But just the way that Zachy carries themselves, like I had to give my host favorite to them. Kennedy, if you have anything else to say.
Yes, Zachy, love. Now we've hosted each other, which is really cute. You and I got fairly close, probably about a year ago. And I knew that I wanted you to play. And when you were like, oh, are there any games that you know casting? I was like, oh, boy, do I have a game for you. And I am so glad that you applied, that you came here. You were so fun to watch. You really were. You carry yourself in such a respectable way that when there's conflict or when there's something, you're able to look at both sides. You're able to look at all of the different points. And if something happens and someone says, hey, like you made me feel uncomfortable, or hey, you said something or did something that I don't appreciate, you always handled it so just respectfully and eloquently. And it's really admirable, and just as a person and as a player, because you navigated this game strategically incredibly well, socially incredibly well, physically you were up in the top 2, let's just say. You got second a lot, but you didn't let it kick you down. So yes, you were absolutely lovely to watch. So yeah, there's my 2 cents.
Thank y'all so much. That's really good. Thank you. I'll have more to say about
When we're not live, that's when we get room limit tell all. Don't worry.
Yeah, we do have a lot to say. We'll move on to the next award. I don't know what it is. I forgot. It's Underdog of the Season.
Woo!
So the 3 nominees for this are Eric, Andrew, and Julian. And the winner of this award is Andrew. The default king. As soon as Andrew was brought into this game by a twist, he was taken out. People refused to speak to him. And then he had to come back. And people still refused to speak to him. And yet he still made it all the way to the end of the game and won. If that doesn't speak underdog story, I don't know what does. But seeing that happen, like, I was shocked from a prod perspective.
Everybody was.
Yeah, it was a little crazy. You kept saying default, default, default. And yes, obviously it was strategy and all these different things, but I mean, you flat out had people in the game who refused to speak to you. You had to deal with the Facebook, you had to deal with all of these different things, and you brush it off. Oh, he's gone. No, he's there. Somebody else is gone. You brushed it off, and you played how you played, and you stayed focused on your goal, and you stayed focused on round by round doing what you could do, and I think that is the definition of an underdog. Is I'm put in the spot that I need to be, but you know what? I'm going to try to do my best and claw my way back up, and you did exactly that. So
Yeah, that was very well said. Thank you, and I love you as always. And I don't know if this is the right time to say it, but I just want to really, really quickly give a shout out to Kennedy and the entire cast for standing by her and not just quitting this org when we all know what happened. You're wonderful, and I'm so glad that we're all here to support you.
Oh, now I'm gonna cry.
No, I don't want to
Thank
make you cry, but
no. It's not bad.
I actually quit 12 times in my project.
Eric.
We had to keep Eric.
We
on, like, a
dragged him
string.
back in,
We
kicking
said,
and
"Nope,
screaming. Thank
Which
you,
one of you
Andrew.
went all the way to Canada?
I would go to
I
Canada
mean,
for Eric.
The Canadian winner ratio just went up. So like,
Not only do we have our first male winner, but we have our first international winner as well.
All right. We will keep it moving along. The next award is the best rivalry. So we did have a lot of fights this season. Most of them were pretty entertaining. Some of them were not. But you always go back to the first one. The first was the best. They did it the best, given best rivalry to Nathan and Eric. This was sort of a rivalry turned alliance, turned back to a rivalry. It was a rocky road with you two. I can't even remember how it started.
He lied to me.
He did. He lied, and then you sent the Distortion Survivor
Oh my
final 3 in
God.
the main chat.
credits for that. You're welcome.
Yeah, credit to Michael.
And then after a bit, y'all were like, you know what? We probably shouldn't be gunning for each other this hard. It doesn't really make sense. So y'all were kind of close together for a couple rounds, and then you went right back to it, and it didn't stop once you reached the jury.
We never once voted together aside from the revote of Tim going home.
yeah,
It was just
only time.
And also, early on in the game, it's no secret that I was super crazy busy early on in the game. I think throughout the course of planning and hosting Room Limit, I had touched like 18 different states, and that's kind of crazy considering there's only 50 of them. So pre-merge, pre-season, no, not pre-season, like early game, when I was trying to figure out what was going on, I would see y'all fighting in the main chat, but then I would see each of you in your prod chat be like, honestly, I have no intention of going after him. And I was like, this makes no sense. Then I'd see y'all in an alliance and I'm like, oh, they're going to work together. And then somebody would say something and the other one in their project would be like, fuck him. Honestly, I'm tired of his attitude. And it was just so back and forth. And it was absolutely hilarious. So yes, I thoroughly enjoyed watching it.
This rivalry literally like went up to like today. Like it's still going on in
Oh,
the
yeah.
jury chat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's so funny.
What
But-
rivalry?
For the most
Exactly.
part, it was game, which we do appreciate. So
He lied to me. That's all I'm saying.
I would argue that a nominee for best rivalry, not an official, but the house that didn't speak to Andrew versus Andrew, the fact that some of y'all didn't even message him.
I meant to say
Dirty.
that in my talk. No, I meant to say something about that in my talk. I meant to say that the fact that at least 2, if not 3 people, like, were not messaging Andrew at all, and he still managed to get as far as he did was very impressive. And I will say it's a 2-way street. His messages would come through too, but the fact that like 2-3 of us were like just not messaging with him at all, and he still managed to get where he was really impressive. So
Michael, did you ever end up DMing him?
our last message was August 7th of 2021.
Oh, so the entire game,
Correct.
you didn't DM him at a single time,
Correct.
and you voted for him to win.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
just making that clear.
That's wow to that stat. And I think Marvin is the same. I think we didn't message at all during this game, I believe. Yeah. So this game has, let me come back on cam. So yeah, this game has, even though I won, it's been a very humbling experience. And I think I've learned the most about myself and what I'm doing right, but also what I'm doing wrong in life. And so I definitely have learned a lot, and I want to be a better person after this. Yeah. But we'll
I'd like
get
to speak on that too. I will say, like, most of the reason that I never messaged Andrew was because I knew there was like literally no chance either of us were ever working together, and I knew there was like no reason to bullshit each other. But I don't know that I wasn't trying to do that just like to like push you away or like purposefully like not interact with you or whatever. It was more just like I knew I didn't want to bullshit you, but I don't know.
And that's totally fair. And it is, somebody said it's a 2-way street, and it is, because I could have messaged you or Marvin and I didn't. So it works both ways. But one thing I did want to say, which I forgot, because I thought Michael was going to ask, why should I vote for you? And I was going to say, if Michael had asked that, because if Michael shaves the facial hair, we're basically look identical.
You're not wrong. Somebody,
I have
okay,
a question.
I hate to like go off of it, but somebody messaged me mid-season and it was like, is Logan related to you? And I was like, I just don't know. Like, so apparently I look like Logan. I look like Andrew. I mean, okay. That's so funny.
Nathan wanted to, yeah.
Just wanted to like throw this in real quick. Was like, I feel like a lot of the reason why I didn't personally like message you, I think after like whatever spat we had right before you went home, was mainly because I feel like we would always hear from Eric or other people what was going on, that like I never really necessarily felt the need to actually ask you, because I could always just assume whatever I was doing, you weren't.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Except for that one time at Final Five, but you didn't know about that.
Yeah.
All right, we will move on to the next award, the best move of the season. There are 3 nominees for these. I will speak on each of them for a little bit of context. The first one is Yoshi forcing a tie vote for Michael. This was at the final 6. I think if Yoshi didn't do this and Michael ended up going home, I think it would have been 6-5-4 with Nathan and Yoshi following right after him.
I would have been safe at 5.
Well, whichever order that happens, what eventually ended up happening anyways, I think it would have happened sooner. Logan throwing a hinky vote for Nathan. It was such a small move, but it had so much impact in the game. I think it was at least brought up once every single round, and it definitely raised the paranoia of the season, and like every single time I heard them talking about it, like the potential people who it could have been, I don't think they ever once said that it was Logan. They were like, no, Logan wouldn't do that.
The only reason
And
can
if they
I,
did, it wasn't until really late game.
can I say something on that, or do you
Yeah.
want me to?
Go ahead.
The only reason that I didn't suspect Logan was because he was the only one of the possible, like once we like broke it down, it was either him, Tim, or was it Michael? I think it was one of those three it had to be. And Logan was the only one who didn't really know me. So I felt like he wouldn't know that that would influence me as much as it did. But obviously I was wrong. So
And the last one was Logan, Michael, Nathan, and Yoshi taking out Zaki at the final 7 round. Zaki is a player who I think had a very, very strong early game, but then once y'all realized what he was doing, you kind of blew up his spot, and taking him out kind of took out what Prod was thinking was the winner at that point, because Zaki was all over the place, like with everybody. And the winner of best move of the season is Logan, Michael, Nathan, and Yoshi taking out Zaki at the final 7. That round, Prod didn't know what was happening until like literally as the votes were being read. Like that was the round that like I was reading the votes and I was like, wait, hold up, because the one person that wasn't there, Michael, changed his vote literally last second like twice.
Okay. I never like said anything to anybody, but like at one point I changed my vote to Eric because I was like, I want to just like make a tie and give myself some more time to think about this because I was at work with children, like shouldn't have been on my phone. So don't show this to my job, but should not have been on my phone, was looking, trying to figure out what to do. Like I was very close to saving Zach there. I changed my vote to Eric and then I was like, no, let's just take Zach out. But yeah, that was like the most chaotic like 5 minutes of this game for me.
it was chaotic for everyone, I think, because Logan was going home until he showed up.
Crazy.
Kennedy, do you have anything else you want to say on that one?
No, I think you covered it. I mean, from very, very early on, Zach and I on calls were like, okay, Zaki's winning the season. This is just what's happening. And y'all caught him. So no, it was very cool to watch that, especially because nobody, including Prod, knew what was happening until right at the end. It was very, very close. So yeah.
Great. And on the other side of the coin, we have the worst move of the season. So our nominees for this one are first, Zaki telling Nathan about the Michael vote. If Zaki didn't say shit, Michael was going home. Because Nathan ran with that shit and got Logan to flip. Well,
Y'all better
Marvin got
believe
Logan to
it.
flip, but it through the chain. Next was Nathan voting Michael out of nowhere. I think in thought, this was a good move, but I think it was handled wrong. I think if you either didn't vote out Michael or told Andrew and Logan about it, you would have been in a much better position going into the next round. I think it could have paid off potentially, but it put you in probably the riskiest position of any player at any time this season. It just didn't pay off for you.
Yeah, I knew it was risky, and that's why I did it, because it was go big or go home, and I went home. So
and then the last nominee is Julian hard pushing for Yoshi round 2. This kind of blew up his entire spot in the game. I don't think he ever really recovered from it this season. People just kind of didn't really trust Julian from that point forward. And the winner of worst move of the season is Zaki telling Nathan about the Michael vote. If Zaki didn't do this, the final 9 onwards would be completely different. The fact that when this happened, I was driving, I was like, what the fuck? But this was kind of Zaki shooting himself in the foot. After this, I think Zaki's game, like I think we said in the project, Zach's done after this.
And we were not happy about it. We were quite sad.
Yeah, because I'll speak on this more later, but it was a very sad round for production.
Oh, was that all of y'all's winner picks?
Well,
I don't know Alex's winner pick, but it was definitely Zach and I's for a good while. And then it shifted to, for me, it shifted to either Michael or Eric.
I think
Also
mine
true.
shifted to Eric or Yoshi after this. We'll move on to the next one, which is Alliance of the Season. We had quite a few alliances this season. One of them dominated a lot more than the others. And the Alliance of the Season is the fucking five with Logan, Marvin,
As it should
Nathan,
be.
Michael, and Yoshi. Goddamn, y'all had a rough way of it, but somehow at least one member of this alliance was controlling the season pretty much from Final 9 onwards.
And I will have you know, Zach, not trying to expose you here, but Zach was not happy about it. Zach was like, this group is just gonna run the fucking endgame.
I was like, this is gonna be the most boring shit ever. Because all these people, like, I think all, like, when I looked at this group, I was like, these people are gonna flip on each other. What the fuck? I was expecting the most boring endgame of all time.
I remember him specifically putting in the chat when Nathan flipped and took out Michael, him saying, wow, Nathan made the season a little more interesting. And I was like, there you go.
As much as personally I wasn't a fan of this alliance existing, I can't fault to recognize how much y'all fucking ran shit. And I have to respect it. Like, you go, girl.
You go, Glenn.
Can we acknowledge what it became after Marvin was gone? The fucking 5 minus Marvin.
Minus Marvin. Don't worry, Marvin, your
personally
legacy
like
lived on.
the alliance of 3 that I made, but we'll talk about that later.
I like the alliance after Logan flipped on us. But
That one, that's the one I'm talking about, Michael.
All right. We'll keep chugging along with Hero of the Season. Our 3 nominees
Where am I?
are Eric,
Not
Yoshi,
that.
and Michael. This one was a toss-up between 2 of the nominees. We weren't sure which one to give it to. But just looking at the entire narrative of the season, I feel like one of them fit a bit better than the other one. And with that, we gave Hero of the Season to Eric.
Yes.
I think if this season every player was part of the solar system, Eric would have been the sun because he was very bright.
That was so cheesy.
It was very cheesy. But I might be a bit biased because from a pride perspective, we loved Eric, but Eric was first put in this underdog position and then had to fight out of it. And then I feel like his end was so sad on a production perspective, and I think to a point on a player perspective, because y'all didn't want to vote out Eric, you just had to.
Mm-hmm.
Eric,
I'm mad that I felt like I finally didn't play a hero game and I was nominated for hero, but it's fine.
We didn't.
Girl, you know you had no shot at villain. Stop.
We didn't.
I mean, I know I had no shot at villain, but I didn't want to be a hero. It's fine.
Eric, I think you said
It's
something, but
valid.
you were muted. Okay,
He's chewing.
I gotcha. Take your time. Don't choke.
Yeah, I said when Zach called me the sun, I thought he was gonna call me hot, but like that's fine.
Not bad.
Reminder, Zach is not a legal adult.
Eric, how old are you? Unless you don't
I'm-
want to say it on the live stream.
Well, I don't want to now after I just remembered this information.
It's on the Facebook already.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, I should know that you're one of my players. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I don't even know how old my host favorite is.
Great. We're gonna move on.
I'm 57.
57.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
That makes sense. All right, we're gonna flip to the other side of the
Yes,
coin.
Grandpa.
Villain of the season. For this, we have Nathan, Logan, and Zachy nominated. Y'all all did some cracked shit this season. Some of it paid off, some of it didn't. I think all of y'all were in at least one argument at some point. But I feel like, again, what fits the narrative of this season best, the villain of the season, is Nathan.
Mhm.
I think it was always going to be Nathan.
Nathan, you called so many bitches out this season. Like it didn't stop. When you wanted someone out, you were like, I gotta do this. Like, I think when you voted Michael out, you were like, I have to do this with either my head or my heart. I have to stick with my head. Cold-blooded shit. I think
How'd it work out for you?
Had it worked out though,
I think you were kind of a Goliath this season, getting closer to the end of the season.
was that a fat joke?
No. And then Logan and Andrew just had to like take you down with slingshots, like whatever they could do to get you out. They had to do that.
Honestly, I was just surprised that like, at least what people said, like I was just surprised that people even thought I had a shot to actually win. I may have not played the best game in other people's opinions, but I was just shocked that like people were saying like, you might actually win. And I was like, in what world? But most of the stuff I did, I tried to do it out of game, like within the game, not like personally. So I always knew I was gonna be villain. Like, come on, where am I a hero in any scenario ever?
I think you had a very good shot of winning against all but one person, and we'll get to that one person later. But I think against everybody else, you probably would at least come away with a couple votes, if not win. But we'll get to that in a couple awards. Next, we have Miss Congeniality. I accidentally revealed it, but we all knew it.
We
Yoshi
all
is
knew
Miss
it.
Congeniality for the season.
Eat it up.
I think it was almost unanimous.
Eat it up, girly.
I think Yoshi. I don't think Yoshi ever got in a fight this season. Like, handled yourself so well. I don't remember you talking shit about anyone.
Looks at
Always
Eric
carrying
leaving.
yourself with kindness. Well.
That wasn't Yoshi, but
Blows up. No, I'm kidding.
Kennedy, if you have
I
anything
want
you
those screenshots, honestly.
I got you.
No, I think Yoshi, you are just so likable. I think it absolutely suits you. Miss Congeniality, Miss Queen, Miss Thing, Miss Moment.
Miss Thing.
It fits you. You are the moment, and
Thank you.
it's. I don't really have much else to
Speechless,
say.
huh? No.
I can gush about Yoshi forever. Your outfits, listen. You every time I joined the call, I was so excited. I was like, "What's Yoshi wearing today?" Because it was so good. And also, Alex, now that you're back, are you one wanting to talk on this, but two, Yoshi was your host favorite. So if you wanted to touch on that,
Yes, more please.
if you're around. There's a chance that he's not around.
Yeah, he might not be around.
He's a ghost.
Alex,
Worst case, we'll just ask him when he comes back.
Yeah, ask him when he comes back. We will move on to the next award, Strategic Player of the Season. So we have a Player of the Season award. We also have a strategic player, a social player, and a physical player, because we like giving people shit. But the Strategic Player of the Season nominees are Michael, Nathan, and Zachy.
Dak, check DMs quick, because I don't remember who wins this. Okay, thank you.
Okay. The winner of this award is Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Kennedy, you want to start on this one?
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure that it was Michael, because if it wasn't, I was gonna be like, wait a second, I think it should be Michael. Not that the others did not play good strategic games, but Michael, and I mean this with so much love, but Michael, when he was fucked, he knew he was fucked because he was able to see the game top down. And I would like to believe that part of that is because you have so much experience hosting, you're able to see games top down because you've seen what, 15 of them now.
Yeah.
But you
Shout out to 1984 Live. Thank you.
Everybody watch 1984 Live when it comes out. Teasers are airing every Thursday. No, you were just able to have such a good understanding on the strategic part of the game. You were able to If you needed to make like tough moves that hurt a little bit, you were able to recognize that you needed to make them. Whether you made them or not, you knew that you should. So yeah, I think that you really had a good grip on the strategic aspect of the game. I think there wasn't really a point in the game where you didn't know what was going on. Other than maybe touchy subjects, but you know what? That's sometimes you get bugged by touchy subjects.
Well, I will
but-
say there was like 4 of them that I like changed my thing last minute. So
And
I
you
did
would've had 'em
kind of know,
right?
and I just changed it last minute. But
And what comp did you go home on? Was it
what conflict
was it touchy
before?
subjects? Oh wait,
it was
no,
before
no.
Easter.
You survived touchy subjects. You survived touchy subjects. I was
Yeah.
like, but no, jokes aside, you were very good at the strategic part of this game. So. And only the strategic part of the game.
Michael, I think, was one of the people that understood the format the quickest, which is something that is kind of difficult because it's a weird format. But I feel like Michael always had that read on what was going on. Nearing the end of the season, Michael was always under these bitches' skin. People always wanted his ass out, but he aligned himself with the people who he knew would be loyal to him. Except for Nathan. Except for Nathan, who eventually flipped, but
I only did it for game reasons.
I still say
love Michael.
strategically, if Nathan keeps me there, we basically force Logan out at 4, and then Nathan and Yoshi are the final 2. But it's whatever.
No, because you told me you wouldn't take me to the end.
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna win the competition to be able to boot you.
I mean, to be fair, I probably would have sent you out at 3 if
Exactly.
I mean, that logic puzzle was very difficult. So like,
I beat Eric at it though, and Nathan gave up. So I did win that, but
I didn't give up. I had to go to sleep because I literally was sick. But go off, King.
Excuses, but it's fine.
Girl, let me go
keep
get
going.
my
Keep going. The
my
challenge is
boxing
coming on. Keep
gloves.
going. Keep going.
second, because I just realized one of y'all's alliances does not have Alex in it.
Oh,
So just bring them in. We're gonna move on to the next award, Social Player of the Season. So our nominees for this are Nathan, Michael, and Yoshi. Nathan, don't give me that look. You were talking nonstop this season. If there was a Zoom, you were on it. But at the end of the day, we do have to give this award to Yoshi. Everybody loved Yoshi, and everybody wanted to work with Yoshi, and nobody wanted to take Yoshi out. It was
Yoshi, you played the middle in this game. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody play the middle. Everybody liked you. You had people telling you to your face, like, I want to take out your ally. This is the person, and you're like, well, you're like, okay, it isn't me. And looking back at your votes, you didn't always vote majority, but you always, like, if you voted wrong or if you made a decision that people didn't like, you came back from it because people liked you. Like, you were talking to everyone had like good thoughts on you, good everything. I mean, we've had a lot of time now to hype up Yoshi, but your social game, just everybody loved you. It was crazy. Your playing the middle was very well done.
Thank you.
Even though he always voted, or like he always aligned himself with the people that were running the game.
Honestly,
it never
part of a
made
social
sense.
game.
Sorry,
Part of a
we'll get to
social game
that.
is knowing what's going on.
Hi, friends. I'm back. Sorry. What did I miss?
Back. Awards.
Did I miss all of them?
No,
Oh.
it's still a couple.
Oh,
But they're live, so you will
Oh,
be able
sorry.
to rewatch this. No, you're okay. You're okay.
All right, and we will be moving on to Physical Player of the Season. The 3 nominees for this are Nathan, Logan, and Yoshi. One of y'all kind of beasted all the comps this season. And I feel like sometimes we give this award to when people only win comps when they need to. But I feel like somebody played the comps this season very, very well to an extent that we kind of just have to give the award to them, and that player is Nathan. You kind of ate the comps up. Even the first round, you, I think, got a score higher than the other room, all of them combined, and your room combined, if I remember.
My score
was-
alone won
was
a one.
crazy.
I wasn't going home first.
And you would have, I think if you made it to the gauntlet, you probably would have been the only player there to make it past the second section of it.
Because I don't think you would have given up. I think
No, I
you would have
wouldn't.
sat there and you would have
Yeah.
said, I am finishing all 5 parts.
Also, I didn't realize that logic puzzle was.
It wasn't hard, Zach.
I did it. It wasn't like that hard. I think I just
Sorry to
like
the people that I just
No
attacked by
disrespect.
saying it wasn't hard.
it wasn't like that hard. I think I was doing it for like 55 minutes or something. But once I got it, I got it. Like I don't know.
My first attempt, it took me 8 minutes.
And mine
I
was
know.
6.
So I think, but to be fair, I used to practice logic puzzles every single day in my original season of 1984 until we had one. And so I really like
I
logic
do
puzzles. Zach is also very good at logic puzzles. So you're hearing that it
I
wasn't hard
started
from
over like
people who
3
really
times,
enjoy
and my
them.
last time took 20 minutes. So it's not like that.
Are you talking
I'm
about?
just
I
glad that I
have a
didn't
cross.
get second.
I have a cross logic puzzle app on my phone. I would have sat there until I figured it out.
Are you talking about the Sally and the?
Yes.
Yes.
That shit was hard. I was not. uh-uh.
Yeah.
All right. We are now going to go. I think this is our last award. Could be wrong. But we are going to player of the season. The nominees for this are Nathan, Yoshi, and Michael. This player, Nathan, you remember I said there was one player I think definitely would have beat you in the end. That's the player of the season. That player is Yoshi. Yoshi was like so damn likable and always had the ability to know what was going on in this game. Like pretty much all the way until the final 3, he had all of his ducks in a line. Like if he wanted something to happen, I'm sure he could have influenced it any way he wanted to, but flipped whichever way he wanted to. He could honestly have flipped back and forth if he wanted to, but instead he stayed loyal. I think he had the most flexibility in how to play this game and was the most versatile player this season. And I think versatility is what should go into a player of the season.
And power. I would argue that not only did he have the versatility, but he had the power. I mean, he had the influence to kind of decide what was going to happen. And there were a lot of times when he chose not to use it. So Michael Davis.
You said it, not me.
Wow.
Not
That's my
verbatim.
Instagram name.
All right.
Anyway.
Let me see if there's any more awards. Nope, that is it. So I will
Great.
stop screen. Actually, do y'all want to see the chart?
We can do that. We can do that
Yeah.
off live just in case we
I
accidentally
was gonna
mess
do
something up.
I was gonna do the episode titles. I can do the episode titles and then go off live and show y'all the chart.
Yeah, we
we
can
just
read
go
off
off-
episode titles
just-
if you want.
When we
No,
go off
no.
live, can we go over the awards again when we go
Yes.
off live? Because I missed a bunch.
He's like, it's okay, Zaki, you didn't get any.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
that's not true.
Not what I'm worried about.
Hey, we're gonna going to the episode titles. Episode 1 was just round 1, which was the blue room where Keith went home. The episode title was by Tim saying, "What place did you get last season?" to Marvin.
I remember that. That was so funny.
Episode 2 was the red room where Andrew went home. It was Marvin saying, "Some guys are just there to get fucked."
Was it about me?
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it was, but I don't think it was.
Oh, okay.
No,
I
it
don't
was.
I don't think it was about you in the game, though, babe. I don't
It
think it was
wasn't about the game.
Ah!
Um,
I want the context because it's
do you want the
true.
context on the
Was
live
that
stream?
in trauma? Was that in Trauma Llamas?
It might have been. I think
it was a
on the
Zoom call.
I think it was the Zoom call when Trauma Llamas was formed.
Okay, yeah, you can say it in context and live. I don't care.
Just think of the words. Some guys are just there to get fucked. I
Right.
feel like we don't need to explain it more.
But, okay, yeah, I'm most places just to get fucked, but like, I want to know the context. What were we talking about?
Baby, you just said the context.
I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll BRB.
We'll explain more off the live, hun.
Okay, I'll go back on mute. Sorry.
No, you're good.
The episode 3 title, that was just round 3, which was the green room where Jake went home. It was by Eric saying, just because I like to shop doesn't mean I'm going to buy your bullshit.
Oh, that was so good. That was so funny.
True.
Next is episode 4, which is 2 rounds. It was the yellow room where Brian went home, and the green system failure where Aaron went home. It was Michael saying, if y'all vote me out this round, I fucking swear, after losing the 50-50 wheel.
Oh, that was so stupid.
The episode 5 title was for round 6, which was the green room with the pencil over the head endurance where Tim went home. And it was by Zachy saying, baby, you're munching on that tail. You're spinning around. After saying that Nathan was going into a tailspin at that point in the game. Next.
Can you repeat that?
So this was the episode 5 title, which was the green room where Tim went home. It was Zachy saying, baby, you're munching on that tail. You're spinning around, which was in reference to you going in a tailspin.
After the vote was ran, the throw vote onto you.
Yeah.
Um,
Rip Tim.
Yeah. Next is the episode 6 title. This is the Blue Room music video and the Red Room room limit where Julian and Marvin went home. It was Eric with "He's Kinda a Big Dill."
Pickle.
Because we saw the fucking pickle video
We had
in his
to.
host chat. We had to.
We had to.
It didn't matter what happened in that
It
round.
was that.
those
That was
rounds,
the episode
it was that.
title.
Episode 7 was the green room touchy subjects where Zachy went home. The episode quote is by Zachy saying, "You can only do so much with sheep."
That was so funny.
Next is the episode 8 title. It was the yellow room where it was higher or lower, and Eric went home that round with Yoshi saying, "He be in some coochie, bless it be."
Oh god.
Oh my god.
Yoshi, I think you were. I think
Yoshi
you
was
were
drunk.
Yeah, I was.
That was so good.
I
He
saw
be
that.
in
I
some
cackled.
He be in some coochie, blessed be. Yeah, that's
Oh
what
my
Yoshi said.
God.
Was that in our alliance?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I
That
was
was
at.
such a funny conversation.
I was in the line at Costco. I read that. I had to go like.
That was in reference.
Sorry.
That was in reference to someone on the jury. We'll explain after we're off live.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yoshi, you don't sound too thrilled about that.
All right.
I'm not.
Next
Ooh.
is episode 9, which was the round 11 red room where Michael went home. It's the famous Andrew quote: "You're more likely to vote Trump than you are to vote Michael."
Nathan, where's your MAGA hat?
Oh, I can turn it back on. Hold on.
Oh my god.
All right.
Stupid.
Next is episode 10, which was the blue room where Nathan went home. It was Andrew saying, "This is like Gilmore Girls," talking about space buds.
When he was reading the script.
No.
This is like Gilmore Girls. Like he was like reading. He was like, and then the dogs are having a space, and then when they did this, and then oh my god, this is like Gilmore Girls, and then like just like at the same pace.
He started singing at random parts in it.
And mind you, not only did Andrew read the scripts, but Andrew had like voices for each of the dogs. Like when Rosebud would talk, he'd talk higher. Or when I don't remember all of the dogs' names, but like Andrew definitely had characters for this. Or when they were when there were the song parts, he would sing a song. Or if it was some song lyric that wasn't even meant to be a song, he would just sing the words because they were in a song somewhere. It was so good.
All right. And then moving on to episode 11, which was the final episode, which had the comp gauntlet and the finale. It was an episode quote by Yoshi saying, "Let me take my shoes off, Jesus."
Oh yeah.
I think this was right after Nathan was voted out in a comp confessional.
Yeah.
But it kind of spanned the entire last episode, in my opinion. I think it was a good last episode quote.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
but
there
that's
we go.
all of them.
So this is not Make America Great Again. This is supposed to be Make Andrew Gay Again. I just wanted to clarify.
All right. We're going to go ahead and go off the live stream. Thank y'all all for coming. We're going to go ahead and go to our reunion. Congrats.